So the migrant crisis is continuously causing havoc in the United States. So as you know, New York City launched a $53 million program to hand out prepaid credit cards to migrant families. Now, this program is called the pilot program, and it says the $53 million pilot program ran by the New Jersey company Mobility Capital Finance will provide asylum seekers arriving at the Roosevelt Hotel with the city cash to help them buy food according to the city records. It'll start with a group of 500 migrant families in short-term hotel stays and will replace the current food service offered there, according to the city hall. The cards can only be used at bodegas, grocery stores, supermarkets, and convenience stores. And migrants must sign an affidavit swearing they will only spend the funds on food and baby supplies or they will be kicked out the program. So this is basically similar to SNAP or EBT. It can provide a family of four up to $1,000 each month, which comes out to $35 per day for food. And the cards will be refilled every 28 days. So I'm going to make a disclaimer right here, right? I feel the same way about anybody who comes illegally to the United States and is trying to get these benefits. I don't care if you're Asian. I don't care if you're Russian. I don't care if you're Ukrainian, Venezuelan, Mexican, whatever. I feel the same way across the board. My question is, why are we spending all this money on people who are not citizens of the United States when New York is actively building something called hostile architect? Hostile architect is basically something that prevents homeless people from sleeping on benches. It makes it harder for homeless people to find somewhere to sleep and keeps them out of public spaces. Y'all don't believe me? Check this out.
What the heck are these things?
And why are there 5 of them?
The goal was to prevent homeless from sleeping under this bridge. Instead, it backlashed with outrage from the town.
Armrests in the middle of benches to large rocks added underneath bridges. Homeless advocates call these designs hostile architecture or anti-homeless.
In London and Paris, you see spikes on windowsills. In D.C., a curved bench.
Hostile architecture is when cities put features in the architecture to try to keep homeless people away.
Spikes that would hurt people seems like a bad idea.
So they literally have architecture to keep the homeless away. And instead of spending our tax dollars to find housing for the homeless people in the United States, we're spending it towards the migrants, the asylum seekers. And the thing is, with these migrants, they are throwing around the word asylum seeker loosely, because a lot of these people that's coming over, they're not really asylum seekers. Some of them are just coming over to seek a better life and just reap the benefits of what's in America and to send money back to their family. And the thing is, you just don't have them coming from one place. You had them coming from all over. Venezuela, China, Russia, Ukraine. And a lot of these countries are not going through no major wars or anything to where people have to seek asylum. They just coming over for a better life. And there is nothing wrong with it if you do it legally. If you migrate here legally and go through the actual vetting process. See, a lot of these people are coming over and not being vetted, and they are starting these crime rings.
With our coverage. Stefan.
Well, Bill, it was a sprawling criminal enterprise operating out of an apartment here in the Bronx. 2 suspects are now waiting to see a judge here in court, but as they await arraignment, the debate rages on about how we got here in Albany and in Washington.
¿Qué pasó?
20-year-old Alexander Dacre and 24-year-old Roxana Sajos among those busted by cops yesterday in the Bronx. You want to do this side? All right. In Manhattan, 20-year-old Kleiber Andrade and 23-year-old Juan Uzcategui arrested by police. They're among the suspects arrested by cops in connection with a robbery pattern where thieves on scooters and mopeds were snatching women's purses and phones out of their hands. Investigators say they would then bring them to an alleged crew leader who had a tech guy who would then hack the phones and drain victims' bank accounts. Investigators say the suspects are recent migrants from Venezuela. Mayor Adams in Albany, when asked if he would consider an executive order to take away restraints that prevents the NYPD from collaborating with ICE.
I believe if you create repeated felonies in our city, the federal government should do its job and have that individual deported from our city. There is a privilege to be here and participate in the American dream. I don't have the authority to do that. The city council will have to.
So as you heard there is an active law put in place to where the NYPD cannot work with ICE to deport migrants. And the thing is, if you let a whole bunch of people over here, you don't vet them, they don't have jobs, they don't have resources, and then the citizens of America are already struggling as well, it's just a bad situation waiting to happen. What else do you think they're going to turn to? Crime, of course. And it's not just New York. Chicago as well. Chicagoland criminals suspending enterprises by training migrants for suburban crime sprees. So, this is soon to come to a city near you. Don't think just because your city is not a sanctuary city is not going to affect you, because they're starting to spread all over. And my anger is not towards the migrants, it's more towards the elected officials, because they're only going to take advantage of what they can. Hey, if I was in their position, I would take advantage as well. If I see some ads saying, hey, come to America, you'll get this and this and that. Hey, I try to take advantage myself, even though it's just a trick, you know. It's not as sweet as they thought it would be. Now, let's talk about this NYPD situation. Now, this is the reason why I waited for this situation to completely blow through, because I had to see exactly what was going on, because I know how the police move and I know what they do. Now, even though I have been very critical of this migrant crisis, I'm going to call a spade a spade. Police said Henry Brito was disobeying a lawful order to disperse when an officer tried to arrest him, triggering a melee with nearly a dozen men, but footage releasing today shows he was walking away.
Cam footage telling the officers, don't touch me. And seconds later, after he grabs a stroller and begins walking, one of those officers grabs him and pins him against the wall. Brito asks in Spanish, why are you stopping me?
He refused the lawful order. They attempted to place him under arrest, and the melee begins.
The incident in that instant turned.
So yeah, as you can see, dude was walking away with the stroller. He was eventually about to leave, and then the police officer just hemmed him up. So I can't be mad at them for doing that. I can't be mad for them sticking up for old dude and sticking together. And hey, they did what they did, so I can't be mad at that. But I will say this, right? With this whole migrant issue, this whole border crisis, they are playing in our faces. They know what they are doing, and they are doing it on purpose. Listen, whatever comes out of this, I most definitely see this as being part of the downfall of America. Because one thing that they're doing is they're actively trying to incentivize other people over Black Americans, because they don't want to give Black Americans what is owed to them, which is reparations. And they're continuously trying to put everybody else over us. It's going to backfire on them. And whatever happens, they're going to get what they deserve. It's going to backfire on them. So that's all I got to say about that. And y'all tell me what y'all think about this.